Hey guys, it's Chris. From spider webs stronger than steel to advanced blood detection, here are insects and arachnids with incredible superpowers. Number 9. Dung Beetle. The term super strength can mean many different things. For the dung beetle, it means how much they can push around with their legs. The dung beetle is a type of rhinoceros beetle and is actually considered the strongest animal in the world because of how much weight it can move in proportion to its own body weight. They aren't very big, about half an inch, 1.3 centimeters, to 2.5 inches, which is 6.3 centimeters, and that's depending on the species. The BBC reports that scientists in London put these beetles to the test. In one study, they found that the dung beetle can carry up to 100 times their own body weight. In another study, scientists found that they could pull an object up to 1,141 times their own body weight. Allow me to spell out how that would compare to a human. If an average human could do that, they'd be able to pull 6 double-decker buses without much effort at all. If this kind of proportional strength sounds familiar, it's because you've likely heard about how another insect species, the ant, is able to do somewhat similar feats, but on a smaller scale to the dung beetle. All of this proves just how strong the dung beetle actually is, even though it doesn't look like a creature with such strength. Number 8. Spiderweb strength. In Marvel Comics, Peter Parker has the ability to shoot spiderwebs out of his hands that allow him to swing from building to building. Some might think this is a gross exaggeration of how strong spiderwebs are, but they'd be wrong. For it is a true superpower that they have. Granted, some spiders do swing like Spider-Man, but their true strength lies in their webs and how insanely strong they are. Standard spider silk is 5 times stronger than steel. What's more, there are some spider silks that are even stronger than that. And it just depends on the species of the spider, such as the Darwin's bark spider. This spider's web has a strength that's 25 times stronger than steel and can be woven into an item that's 10 times more durable than Kevlar. There's actually a very real movement in the world right now to find a way to manufacture natural spider silk at a quicker rate without hurting or killing the spiders. Because this material could be used to not just make Kevlar vests, but also incredibly strong bandages and sutures for surgery. And why would they use them for that? Because another superpower that this webbing has is that it's immune to bacteria and diseases, and it's waterproof. Are you impressed yet? If we could make it in large quantities, this could be the next greatest invention. Number 7. Camouflage. Many animals in the world have the ability to blend or hide in their natural surroundings. But for the orchid mantis, it's a bit more curious than that. This bug from Southeast Asia is actually a bit unique in how it gains its superpowers of camouflage. When it's young, it had a very distinct orange and black color, which wouldn't be good for blending into a lot of the backgrounds it finds itself in. However, as it grows older, its body adapts in a way that makes its color change, to the extent that it'll go from orange and black to pink and white, as well as other colors. The name orchid mantis came because one of the most abundant color palettes of the mantis is the pink and white pattern that it uses to blend into the local orchids of the area. And they blend in rather well, which no doubt helps them not only in hiding, but in staying out of sight of prey it wants to eat. This superpower has actually made it famous in North America, and people have actually gotten it as a pet because of its unique coloring. And now for bugs that can resist radiation, but first, are you subscribed yet? If not, be sure to click that subscribe button before you leave. Number 6. Radiation resistance. A common myth that is resounded through pop culture is that if a nuclear bomb were to go off, the only thing that would survive is a cockroach. But is it true that they're immune to radiation from nuclear bombs? Well, no, but they are incredibly resilient to them. This was proven in many ways, not the least and most popular of which was during a test on the show Mythbusters. The trio of Grant, Carey, and Tori went and exposed a group of cockroaches to radiation that would kill any human. And though not all of the cockroaches lived, many did survive. So why do cockroaches survive when others die? It's believed that it's because of their cell structure and how their bodies are formed. When a human body is hit by radiation, the body is affected in the soft tissue areas, as well as places like bone marrow, which makes our body break down via cell destruction. Cockroaches don't have that limitation. as their own cells are actually rather simple, and so their bodies are either not affected or affected at a much slower rate. Weirdly though, the Mythbusters also tested other bugs like fruit flies, and they were found to be even more resistant to radiation than the cockroaches. So there are many insects that share in this very special superpower. Number 5. Super senses and communication. Bees use a very advanced form of communication to relay to one another certain items of importance, such as a field that might be ripe for pollinating. Known as the waggle dance, they'll do deep-rooted choreography in order to guide their fellow bees to where they need to be. This is actually one part of their superpower. As scientists have noted, the fact that the bees are able to communicate in this fashion, and that it works in such a fashion, is rather remarkable. But the other half of the equation is that the bees know a lot about Earth. They understand that the Earth is round, apparently, and they understand the phases of the sun. Also, despite the fact that bees have bad eyesight, they're able to remember key landmarks that help them provide the right dance moves to show their counterparts. It's said that they can even use the Earth's electromagnetic field to help guide them on their way to their location. Well, that's very cool. Number 4. Walking on water. The concept of walking on water is not new to animals, but for spiders, it's usually their key weakness, except for species like the fishing spider. It's known by other names too, like the dock spider, wharf spider, or raft spider, but their superpower is the same. Their hair is unwettable, which allows them to well and truly walk across the water. And sometimes they can even go underwater and climb up rocks while submerged because the water doesn't affect them like other animals and insects. They're also really gross looking. The real use of this superpower, though, comes when it's hunting. For it doesn't go after insects, but rather, it goes after fish. Fish of an impressive size at times. It'll walk across the surface of the water and then use its legs to breach the surface and lure the fish to them, as fish can often be attracted to stimuli like sounds or disrupted water. Once in range, the leg will actually grab onto the fish. At the top of the leg, it's actually a claw, and then throw it onto the land where it's helpless and the spider can eat it. And because of its immunity to water and the way its body is built, it can stay submerged for 45 minutes without drowning. Number 3. Super jump. Fleas are a parasite, and one that's known to inhabit creatures like dogs and cats. But if you have ever wondered how they get around, it's because they have an incredible jump ability. In fact, the flea is so gifted that it can jump up to 100 times greater than its body height. This may not seem impressive given that fleas are inherently super small, but for a creature like this, that's a great distance. And it allows them to get where they need to go, including to your pet if necessary. But how do fleas have such a skill? On their feet is a protein called resolin, and it acts like a springy pad of sorts, which gives them the bouncing ability to go much higher into the air in whatever direction they want. Number 2. Sonic illusions. Tiger moths are a prey of the bat, and to defeat its predator, they had to adapt in order to beat its own superpower, echolocation. To refresh your memory, bats use sound waves to bounce off objects, then relay visual information to them. It's very efficient, and it makes them great predators. The tiger moths, though, are able to create sonic illusions, or more simply, they can jam their radar in such a way that the bats see things that aren't really there. So how do they do this? Well, they emit ultrasonic clicks, ones that directly counteract the abilities of the bat. And when aimed at certain objects, it makes the bat think that there's food in that direction. And this can get them not only to leave the tiger moth alone, but actually hurt themselves by running into objects. One scientific test put the tiger moth against a trio of bats. Even when it was pinned to the ground by the scientists, the tiger moth was able to continually and efficiently trick the bats so they couldn't reach it most of the time. Only 1/5 of the times did the bat reach the moth. And number 1, blood detection. Have you ever wondered why a mosquito is always able to find you? The answer is their superpower, blood detection. Mosquitoes have very heightened senses, to the extent that they can sense a person when they're over 100 feet away from them. And because of how heightened their senses are, they actually know when to strike you in order to get your blood. And they even know what blood type you are. This is actually the reason the mosquito will bite you. It's because they feel that the blood you have within you is the most tasty. Even if a mosquito finds a large group of people, they'll use their heightened senses to see which blood is the most appealing to them, and then go right for that person. An important note, mosquitoes at max are about 1 inch in length, and oftentimes much less, so to sense a person 100 feet away with such accuracy is crazy impressive. Thanks for watching, guys! What do you think of these insect superpowers? Which one was your favorite? Do you know any other insects that have a superpower? Let me know in the comments below. And be sure to subscribe before you leave, and I'll see you next time.